Alright, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a bit of an alternative tip for those that don't want to do the salvage panels. I would say the salvage panels is going to be probably better income than doing this if you're really min-maxing it, but that's also going to be somewhat based off of luck and if you want to go look for the panels. But I know some folks probably don't want to do the panel play, or at least take a break from it and do something different. Well, right now, when you want to use salvage claim, that's not really a good alternative, given that salvage claims, unfortunately, if there's a server error, they go away, right? Like you lose that mission and you lose all of that money. So if you want to do something like the Andromeda or the Cutlass Black, if you wanted to process those, if you pick up the salvage claim, if there's a server error, which happens, it's happening less frequently now, which is good, but it does happen, and unfortunately you lose your salvage claim and the money you put into it. You don't get that money back. So this is going to be a good alternative to that because it's going to work in the same way. However, because it's your ship, you actually won't need to worry about losing the ship. When the server error happens, I still continue to process. This happens both for when I'm renting as well as when I have. I actually haven't had the error come up when I'm renting, but it should work the same way because it's your ship. But anytime I'm working on salvaging one of my own ships, it doesn't go away. The error doesn't cause it to despawn, so it's still there. Alternatively, this is something that may go away in the future because I do think this is probably not the way that salvage should work. I don't think you should be able to salvage your own ships. Maybe. I mean, it's still material, so it just seems it's a little cheesy, right? Maybe it should work this way. I mean, it'd be up to you to pay for the insurance and stuff like that. But anyways, obviously it's fairly cheesy. It's not a bug. It just is what it is, right? You're just salvaging material from your own ships. Let's get into it. Once you guys get to the space station, I'm using Seraphim Station here. You're just going to go down to the cargo center. Once you do that, you're just going to head into the cargo area, and then veer off to the left. This is where you're going to be able to buy all the cargo services. They have the yellow suits here, quite a bit of other items too, the tractor beams and whatnot. Over to the left here is the rentals, and you can see here, here is the Cutlass Black. So I'm going to go ahead and rent this for 1 day. You can do 3 days. That's going to increase the price slightly. You can see it went, actually I think it just multiplies it. Am I crazy? Let me see. A rent ship. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't show it on the kiosk, but you have to pay more. So if I go 3 days, you have to hit rent ship in order to see the total price. But I think I'm sure it's just multiplying that price out. 30 days. Yeah, 30 days isn't quite as much as the regular one, but honestly, it's pretty close. So yeah, just choose a day, rent the ship, and this is just going to add it to your account temporarily for 24 hours. So don't do this unless you've got 24 hours to play. Don't play the whole 24 hours. I mean, you do whatever you want. You do you. All right, a really quick note on rentals. This is where you can actually rent these ships. This is estimated the price. It could be a little bit off. Some of this data seems to be a little bit old. But I rented you can see I got the 42 336 in the video clip. So this is obviously accurate for the Seraphim station. But feel free to go to one of these rental kiosks to rent the Cutlass Black if you want to rent the Cutlass Black. If you have a bit more money, you could rent the Connie. And then there's a 600 die. I'd say the 600 die is better for the Reclaimer. We'll get into those numbers really quick. Feel free to pause here if you want to take it where you want to rent the ship at, but we're going to look at the income really quick for these. I do have them listed here, but I'll get into the nitty gritty of that. I guess really quick, you can see this is the price for a rental. This is the income you're expected to make, and so you can see pretty quickly you can recoup the cost. Matter of fact, with the Cutlass, almost 300%. So 300% means you can actually almost buy 3 of these. Obviously, I don't have to do the full math on it, but another 8%, and you would be able to buy 3 of these. With the current challenge with RMC, there's a bug, and it's not a challenge, it's a good thing, I guess, but it is a bug where if you scrape the ship of RMC and then you frack it, the RMC regenerates on the new fracked ship, so you can regain that RMC as well. So instead of this being 123, it'd be closer to 200,000 in income. So you can actually get quite a few different ships, or you can make quite a bit of money on this alone. Let's get into the numbers really quick. So you can see the Cutlass Black right here. You get about 7 boxes of RMC, so you can get actually closer to 14 boxes with the RMC issue where it's not duping. It's just the fact that when you scrape I guess it's a somewhat duping. It's not the duping that most people are referring to right now. It's duplicating the amount of RMC you get as far as it. You scrape the ship, obviously there's no more RMC to get, but if you frack it and then regenerates that RMC on that ship that you just fracked. And I'll show that in the video clip as well. So you can get double this number. It's not duplicating. Again, it's not the same duplicate bug that most people are referring to when they're talking about duping. It's a different kind of dupe, if you will. Additionally, here is the Andromeda class. You can get 12 boxes SCUs of RMC. Now this one costs about 203, I think, was the rental price. So there's a little bit more to have to recover. But with 12 boxes, you can see here, this is about how much money you get of 12 boxes of RMC. Actually, that's not. This is how much those 12 boxes would be. This includes boxes of RMC as well as construction material. I have to put a limit here because there's so much construction material that the Andromeda has. You can't actually collect all of it. It won't fit. You only fit about 24 boxes, maybe some fit 25, maybe 26 boxes. You're not going to get much more than the. Um, I've limited this to 23 boxes. Additionally, please note that the 600i is another alternative, but it's just got too much material. So yeah, so with the current issue with the duplication piece, you can get 24 boxes of RMC if you decide you want to rent the Constellation class and process that. All right, let's get into the rest of the video. Now I'll show a listing of possible stations. I'm going to choose her LF4 Melodic Field Station. All right, so this is off UEX corp.space. This is one of the many sites. There's also SC Tools, and there's others that track kind of where you can do some trading. And what I'm looking at here is where you can sell construction materials and at what stations and areas you can sell them at. I previously went to some other stations that no longer sell there. So the goal here is to find one that not only you can sell the construction materials to, but also has a medical bed that you can respawn in. So ArcL3 is a good example of one you can't do that at. I originally had taped there, but I forgot that it did not have a medical bed. So it was not going to be a good alternative. Additionally, you want to take a look here. It's listed by pricing from the highest amount that you can sell it to. So you want to start kind of from the top and work your way down. I'm going to go ahead and try to use Hurl L4. I'll double check, make sure it has a spawning bed, and it probably does if you're seeing this particular clip because I chose it as my option here. You probably don't want to do something like Orison because it doesn't really meet the needs of our purposes. We need to be at a space station where we can actually do some salvaging at. All right, let's catch you guys on the other side. You're going to go ahead and store your ship, and then you'll want to make your way to the medical clinic because you're going to set your spawn here. That'll be important to what we're doing. So there's a reception. Down here is... Can I walk past it? This is the insurance, sorry. So here's your insurance. You're going to go ahead and go to the regeneration. And sorry for the glare, but you want to just set transfer and print. There we go. I've set my spawn at this station now. All right, so we're going to head now over. I'm going to get my vulture, and I'm going to set up the Drake Cutlass Black that I had done a rental on previously.
To the ASOC vehicle retrieval system.
Down here. I need to expedite the... I've gone to a couple stations, to be honest with you. On the back end here, I've made a couple of mistakes, errors. But I find this to be a pretty good alternative. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get my... I'll get the vulture first, and I'll set this up. So the first thing you want to do is head out of your station that you've chosen. Again, I'm at Huro L4, and so I'm going to head towards this Huro L4A marker, so that way I know where the heading is that I need to head to. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and park my ship here. You just want to make sure you're outside the armistice zone. So up here at the top, I mean, if I back up a bit here, you'll see that if I back up, you'll be able to find the armistice zone marker right now. I think this is just like indicating if it's a crime area. There we go. So you can see there, armistice zone. So you want to make sure you're outside of that. If you want to leave your initial ship here, you can actually leave it in the armistice zone. Just make sure you're at the edge of it. Additionally, you could jump somewhere if you wanted. Like, I could have jumped to that L4/A spot, but this is fine for my purposes. There's nobody out here. So wherever you feel comfortable to take your ship, but we're going to now set up the salvage claim. So next thing you want to do is take off any of the gear that you don't, I'm going to strip off all the stuff here that I don't need because all of this is going to be pointless. I mean, I could come back and loot it as well, but I might as well just take it off now. Alright, and then backspace your character, and again, the focus is you'll want to make sure that you set your spawn at the space station before doing this. So I guess before you hit backspace, make sure that you've set your spawn at the space station you want to work with. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and get the Cutlass Black, and I'll meet you guys out there. So you want to go ahead and pull this out, and then I'm going to head to my vulture, and then I'll go ahead and process this particular ship. I will catch you guys once I get out there to my vulture, but you're just going to head to the hangar that you get established at, and then go ahead and head to your particular ship. I've already got the vulture. It's pretty close to my ship, so you can see it here on the indicator. Just if you're a little further away, then just jump to wherever it is that you left your vulture at. I'll see you guys when I get back to the vulture. Alright, so once you've returned back to your ship, you're all set to set up the gathering process. So you want to, you don't have to power the engines off, I guess, but you want to definitely power it down, because otherwise you won't be able to process the salvaging material, because the ship has to be powered off for it to do salvaging. Usually when you get up to a salvage claim, that's already going to be done for you, but in this case, obviously we have to do some of, I should have went through the hangars on the side there. There's also docking bays on the side here that you could use instead of the back ramp if you want, but it's not a big deal either way. But I went out the back, close that up, and then make your way back to your vulture. Goodness gracious, all that sun. So bright. Turn my brightness down or something. I mean, it doesn't, I think that's part of the problem with the game currently, where the sun's just either like too dim or too bright. Alright, then get back in your ship, and then you can go ahead and start salvaging. So I'll salvage a bit of this off. The focus I'm going to do right now is on the construction material, but feel free to mix this up a bit, right? So you can see I already have some stuff in my depot, because I was doing some salvaging with this vulture earlier. But now the ship's off, you press dim to turn your salvage mode. There you go. You can start gathering salvage. So you can just salvage this whole thing down. Again, this is worth about 7 SCUs. It's about 6.9 to 7 SCUs of material. Now, again, I'm just going to do, you can scrape this whole thing down if you'd like to do that. Obviously, you won't be able to sell that at the station here, but you could sell the construction material. So I'm going to go ahead and gather that up right now. So you can mix up the gameplay, do construction material only sometimes, maybe do a mixture of both, maybe just do the recycled material, because obviously that makes the most money. But I'm going to go ahead and frack the ship down. You will notice, after I frack, I'm going to show the right side engine there, so you can see that the material does go back to it. Right now it's currently a bug where the material regenerates. You can see there that the engine is perfectly fine again. That's just because it's currently a bug. And so you can, again, you can scrape this down twice. So you can get 7 SCUs and scrape it down of RMC initially, and then you can re-scrape it once you've fracked it like this. You can just re-scrape it again. I'll demonstrate that actually a little bit too. So let me go back to, so I can go ahead and put it back into mining mode, or mining salvage mode. And see, you just go ahead and start processing again. I'm at 10.6, and so this will put me at 10.7. If I get enough material. It's gonna make me look crazy. Let's do it on the bigger part there. It takes a while to gather it, but I should have done the trawler have been quicker. There we go, 10.7. So you can see I can still gather material off of it, even though it's already been fracked. That's a bug. It shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so I'm going to gather this one up. This will just about fill up the buffer. So if you do the Cutlass Black, it's actually going to be more material than you can actually carry. So if you just want to do this with construction material, do know, as you see right here, I'm actually going to get more material than I have space for. I have 0.9 available. This is taking up 1.0. So I actually, cut profits a little bit there. Alright, so I'll go ahead and process this material. Now, now that I've gotten back to the station, you want to go ahead and store your ship, so you can start going to, I'm going to go ahead and sell that construction material here, because if you don't have any RMC, you can just sell the construction material here. Additionally, you want to go ahead and do your claim on the Cutlass Black, or whatever ship you want to go ahead. If you have a couple ships, actually you could rent a couple Cutlass Blacks. If you want to do that, that's fine too. You can just rotate them around, honestly. Okay, so it's not 3K, it's 6K to pay the expedited, and it takes you down to 3 minutes. So that's going to cut in your profits quite a bit. That's worth 4 boxes. 2 is 3. Yeah, it's 4 boxes, more than that, honestly. Just over 4 boxes of SCUs of construction material. Alright, so you want to head down to the Galleria in order to expedite that. So it's probably not worth the money to do that. Like I said before, I came to the station, I had already processed everything. If you want to, you can process stuff at the station. So if you want to start the process of coming here first, before you finish all your processing, that way you can kind of kill time with that in the meantime. Alright, so once you come upstairs, you're going to take, I think I went all the way around. You can come around this way, and then you can make your way to the admin center, and then you're just going to go here, and you're going to go and pick your vulture, and then you can sell it. Honestly, the duping probably works for this too. If you wanted to take that route, I'm not big on the duping thing. I mean, it's not going to be any harm for its construction material here. So if you wanted to now log out, you know, if you want to join the club as far as that's concerned. Honestly, I think those people should get a banned at this point. I know I'm in the minority and I know they're not going to do anything about it, but um, at this point, if you log out and then log back in, you can recover your ship. Um, I guess I'll just show that it currently works that way. Do I want to do that? I don't. I'm not going to show you how to do it. There's videos out there if you want to check on how to duping. If you want to do that, you can dupe now and go get your vulture. Your construction material should be there again. Alright, so technically yes, the duping works for it as well. It's up to you if you want to do that. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm not a big fan of people that are doing that. I think it's a pretty bad exploit for the game. I think it's bad for the servers. In this case, if we're doing it on vultures and then going to use a vulture, it's a little less of an issue. But just note, I don't know. I don't think very highly of those that are currently doing that. I think it's really causing quite a big problem for the game. And that's partially why we're having to, I think, even have this tips video to begin with. Yeah, so again, I think making the money from the panels is probably better in this case. Maybe not against the Andromeda, to be honest. I don't know, the Andromeda would be a pretty good catch. But anyways, people probably like to salvage ships more so than the panels. So if you're a person that doesn't like the panels, this might be a good alternative for you. Additionally, you can rent more than one ship. So if you actually take a look at the cost versus income, I'll show that, you know, towards the beginning here. But when it comes to renting the Cutlass Black, you actually almost make enough to rent 3 of them, to be honest, with the income you can make. So if you scrape it down, especially if you scrape the RMC twice, so if you know, are taking advantage of that bug, you can rent, if you decide to rent 1 Cutlass Black, you can go ahead and scrape that down. Honestly, the income from that could probably get you quickly into an Andromeda rental if you want to do that instead. So if you want to rent a Cutlass Black, do what I showed here. Not the construction material. You need to scrape the RMC. Go sell that RMC. Then you should have enough money to do the Constellation. You're going to need to scrape the Cutlass Black, frack it, and then re-scrape it again. That should be enough money, more or less, to get you into the Andromeda rental, which is 203 to 212. So it's a little over 200,000. To go ahead and get that Andromeda. And the Andromeda, the benefit there is it's almost twice as much RMC. So if you're looking to do the RMC gameplay, that's going to be the better option. If you want to do construction material, I think the Cutlass Black is probably fine. It almost fills up the back of the Vulture anyways. So you would frack it, go reclaim the ship, process that material, process what you have left over, or just wait for the ship. If you want to do the duping thing, again, that's between you and the Lord Almighty himself, whatever deity you pray to, on whether or not you should be doing that. You're unconscious. Yeah, so go ahead, and if you want to do the duping thing, you can do that while you're waiting for the Vulture and the Cutlass to respawn. Or maybe you have a couple of Cutlasses that you want to process. So maybe you have 2 or 3 rentals. You go process one, you bring it back, you sell it. You take a second one out, you go back and you sell it. You rinse and repeat, and in between the going back and forth, you just keep claiming the ship. That's about it. This is an alternative to the panels. Like I said, the panels is probably better than this, but this would be a good alternative. And again, when the servers have an error, at least you don't have to deal with your salvage claim going away. Whereas the salvage claims, I think, are fairly rough right now. They're not the greatest alternative. Alright, if you guys want more guides like these and little tips and tricks, please subscribe to my channel. I'm pretty focused on the salvage stuff, so I'm pretty I like to do my best to be on top of good alternatives for salvagers and spending time really playing out those gameplay loops and giving you guys the best tips. So please subscribe to the channel if you want a lot more salvage. That's been my focus more or less for this game. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.